moving into Chapter 12, bits and pieces of Chapter 12 that, again, this is review. If you the top of your notes, I think, says, do you remember 7th grade math? Okay? So basically, these are concepts that we're not going to spend a lot of time with because you already know them, but I need to refresh your memory. Okay? What's wrong? No, I know I'm not. But I want, because you need to have this. So are you happy now, Maddie? Okay. So I will move in and out. Okay, but I want you to be able to, so when you're watching the video, the idea is that you're going to be able to see this so that you can answer your questions and we can write them down, okay? Okay, so what we're talking about today is independent events with replacement, dependent events without replacement. Is that the back side of your guys' page? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I think I just need to. All right, here we go. Okay, that's the front side. Okay, so you do not need to go and get your book and look at page 608. I just want to give you a refresher on, well, what is a frequency table? So I have right here an example so that you get an idea and you're like, oh yeah, that's just a tally sheet, right? Well, they call it a frequency table. So refresh your memory, know that that's what they're talking about should you see it. And then down below here, this is a line plot. So it's just where they use marks to show how many people, or how many people had this many M&Ms, how many people had this many M&Ms, or sometimes they'll use it where maybe they'll say, well, how many cars were defective, and they'll have cars lined up on top of each other to show how many, so it's kind of a pictograph type of thing. Okay, same concept. So that should be nothing new to you. Does that make sense? Everyone remember frequency, line plot, okay? All right. The other thing is range. What does range mean? Do you remember what range means? So again, this might come up in ISAT. So the range, remember, is the difference between the greatest and the least value in the data set. So for example, if you had a bunch of numbers, 19, 16, 29, 52, 11, and so on, and they said, what is the range of those numbers? What do you have to do? You don't even really need to do that. I would if I'm finding mean, median, and mode. Okay, so for the sake of making sure we remember mean, median, and mode, Travis is correct. We would put them in order from least to greatest. So what am I going to put first?
11.
Then what?
16.
Then what?
19.
Then what?
9.
And? Okay. So when I do that, first of all, my range would be what? How do I figure out the range? What do I do to figure out range? I do what? Raise your hand if you know. So it tells you up there. So what am I going to do, Bailey?
Difference between the greatest and the least values to subtract 11 from 15.
Right, so my range is going to be my largest number minus my smallest number, and what do I get? So my range is 41, right? That's all range is. Okay, so you need to remember that. Now, if I'm doing mean, median, and mode, to find the mean of these numbers, what do I have to do? So mean is another word for the average. Median is the middle. Okay, so I would add these all together. Did anyone do that yet? Good thing Brittany brought a calculator. So if you add all of these up, what am I going to divide by? How many numbers are here?
5.
5. So you're going to divide by 5. Brittany, what did I get?
127.
127. And you would divide 127 divided by 5, and what do you get? What'd you get, Jocelyn?
5.4.
Okay, so is that, did you round that, or is that exact?
It's exact.
Okay, so my mean equals, what'd you say again, 25.4? Okay, what's my median of these numbers? So Jocelyn, that was the one you were answering before. My median is, Okay, so that's my middle. What if I have two middle numbers? What happens then? What do you have to do if you find out, if you move in, you have two middle numbers? Michelle? Yeah, you add those together and divide by 2. Okay? And then what's my mode? What's my mode? So what does mode mean? What's that mean, Jake?
What number has the most, like 19?
Okay, so what number occurs the most? Well, what is my mode in this one then?
There is none.
There is none. Okay, so in this case, your mode is none. Okay? What if you had like 2 19s and 2 11s? Which one's the mode? None. None. Mode means the number that occurs the most. It doesn't say numbers, so if there's a tie, there's no mode. Okay? All right, we're okay with range. We're okay with mean, median, and mode, correct? Okay, let's move on. All right, look at the counting principle. The counting principle just basically say if there are m ways of making one choice and n ways of making a second choice, then you just multiply those together to find out how many choices you have altogether. So for example, this says I have 6 shirts, 2 hats, and 3 pairs of pants. Find the number of outfit choices. So all I need to do is take 6 times 2 times 3, and what do I get?
36.
Okay, 30, so I have 36 different choices. Okay? And again, you will probably see that on ISAT. It'll only be one question, but it will probably be on there. Okay? That's the counting principle. So again, all of this should be reviewed from last year, correct? So far? Okay, now, theoretical probability just means the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. So if I have 3 red socks, 4 blue socks, and 1 black sock in a bag, what's the probability of the following? So the probability of pulling out a red sock. So how many red do I have?
3.
How many socks do I have all together?
8.
So that's it. That's your answer. You're done. Okay? How about the probability of a blue sock? How many blue socks do I have?
4.
Out of?
8.
Do I have to reduce? Yes. Which is?
1/2.
2 over 4.
Okay. How about the probability of a pink sock? 0. There's no pink sock. So your probability is 0 over 8 or 0. How about the probability of a black sock? Okay, so nothing new, right? If you get a question like this, you can do it. Okay? All right. Now I think turn your paper over, correct? All right, so now they're going to take it a step further and they're talking about independent and dependent events. Independent events are events in which the first event does not affect the second event. Dependent events